Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Lact, and you are listening to another episode of the Perilous Podcast. And joining me as always in the Bunker of Doom, it's the co-host, it's Angie Carrier.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi everybody. We're switching pace from the ultra depressing sexual assault conspiracy podcast.
Yeah.
And you are listening to I don't know what we're listening to. It's Intractable by Kevin MacLeod. Get all your royalty-free music at incompetech.com, and we will be listening to more of that on the outro, Smooth Transition. And this week we're going to do something. We did something a few months ago where, what was the topic? Dolce. So we did a thing where I told Angie, I said, pick a topic, don't tell me what it is, and then you'll just tell me on air. So we're doing another one of those because that was kind of fun. And me just talking out my ass, trying to remember everything I knew about Dolce. But since Dolce sort of featured my favorite asshole, Richard Doty, who's still a piece of shit, by the way, I said some things. So today we are doing that again. And so, Angie, what is the topic?
Well, this one will be a little bit different than Dolce because it's not an event that happened or a specific thing that you might not even have to have any prior knowledge. It's gonna be more talking around it because I think it's really fun to talk about situations.
Interesting.
And if it doesn't hit a half hour, which I think we could talk about for a half hour. If not, we can do some of those fringe.
Well, yeah, but you heard me go off on Lena Dunham for over an hour, so yeah.
That's fair. So I'm really fascinated by and can talk about forever simulation theory.
Oh, where the universe is a hologram? Or computer simulation.
Yeah, that there's more intelligent beings than us who have created this world.
Yeah, that's very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm familiar with it in the abstract, in the sense of a lot of people are coming out and saying that the universe almost acts like a computer system, like we live in the Matrix.
And there's a lot of mathematical stuff in nature and in
the golden ratio and all that stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so is the universe a computer simulation?
Yeah. And it's also, when I was a kid, I used to always kind of think about, is this stuff, are people still around when I'm not there? Which is a kind of a narcissistic way to think, but I thought about it more.
And that's how you ended up in the entertainment.
Right, no. But it's more of is somebody, I didn't think about it in this way, but as I get older, that matches simulation theory, is somebody else controlling my life too. Whereas we're chessboard pieces and they're whereas maybe you don't exist when I'm not here. Somebody brought you into my storyline and then this is
you're just in the memory buffer.
Yeah, and which is kind of crazy to think about. And so I took a thing Neil deGrasse Tyson, talked about this. He said something that I thought was interesting about it, which I think is maybe a good starting talking point. So he put the odds at 50-50 that our entire existence is a program on someone else's hard drive.
Wow. 50-50?
Yeah. I think he's, how he talks.
Yeah.
But so he said, I think the likelihood may be very high. He noted that the gap between human and chimpanzee intelligence, despite the fact that we share more than 98% of our DNA, somewhere out there could be a being whose intelligence is much greater than our own. We would be drooling, blithering idiots in their presence, he said. If that's the case, it would be easy for me to imagine that everything in our lives is just a creation of some other entity for their entertainment. So he's basically saying, how we're so close to, chimpanzees in intelligence, it's not that far of a leap to think there's got to be somebody with, because think about chimpanzees versus us. We're obviously, more intelligent beings I guess it depends on you. We have more critical thought and we can talk and all this stuff. So it's not, he's saying it's not as far of a leap to think that there could be something even more out there.
Oh, sure.
And that's controlling us. So I just thought it was interesting.
Right, it was interesting.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to think that, what is Descartes? I think, therefore I am.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just, basically, so there's a video game called Civilization, where you take on the role of Gandhi or Xerxes or whatever, and you build what if we are that, and we're in the end game now. That's very interesting. go on about your thoughts on it and everything, because again, I'm not necessarily, I understand where, scientifically, it seems like a scientific approach of discussing predestiny versus free will. I mean, if we are a computer program, we have no free will. It's hardwired in.
Which kind of effectively is how people say that God gives you free will, right? But in a way, though, it's almost like everything the computer program is our God. Then
well, right? but you can't. But people say, but people who say God gives you free will also say it's God's plan.
Right.
Like, God gave you God took your child because it was the child's destiny to die.
Yeah.
But God gave you the free. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
It's either chaos theory and stuff bouncing off stuff causing change. I make this choice and that causes this to happen. It's the butterfly effect, which is chaos theory.
Yeah.
Or it's you came over today because that was what the program knew was going to happen, and we're recording these, and because the program knew it was going to happen, and I don't know. It's but then you think about that stuff, and then there are the people that we have all these things about creative visualization, and you can make your own world and all that stuff, and quite frankly, if the world was a computer simulation, or the universe was a computer simulation, that it's very fascinating in the sense of, it's almost hard to wrap your head around, what the implications of that are, because if the world is a simulation, we should, I don't know, it seems like we should all be more similar in the sense of uniformity of
look or
behavior. But it's such an advanced program.
You can randomize in like developers. If they're like, I need to have a bunch of random codes, you write a script for it.
Yeah.
So like if they can write a mathematical script for how we all look and make them random.
Yeah, talk about that from your perspective as someone who does works in computers and things like that. How would you go about creating a simulated universe?
Well, it would. I mean, I don't, because I'm not like a back-end engineer, so it's hard.
No,
but it's all about like logic, right? Like there was like somebody else's mathematician was talking.
Just get a little closer to the mic when you're reading your tablet.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm hard
Sorry.
reading.
No. This is a very deep subject.
So he said blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he did.
I was gonna
Nick
get the
Bostrom, a University of Oxford philosopher, in 2003, the year I graduated high school. He said
that was a little dig at my age, everybody.
No. He suggested that members of an advanced civilization with enormous computing power might decide to run simulations of their ancestors. So it's almost like, I mean, that could be like time travel too. Like somebody in the future is running simulations on us. They would probably have the ability to run many, many such simulations to the point where the vast majority of minds would actually be artificial ones within such simulations, rather than the original ancestral minds. So simple statistics suggest it is much more likely that we are among the simulated minds, which is crazy. Like all of our memories are. There's also that other like theory of like last Thursdayism. Have you heard of that? Where it's like all of our memories were created last Thursday, because you can't prove otherwise, really.
Yeah.
Like it happened.
It's such a weird thing to think about that.
But it says the more we learn about the universe, the more it appears to be based on mathematical laws. So it's kind of like computer code is all like mathematical and logical, and then all of our nature is like mathematical and like of nature. Like it's interesting, like why is that it's happening in nature?
Right, but I mean our bodies are mathematical in nature.
Yeah.
So I mean it could just be that the universe creates things it can understand.
Yeah.
Where maybe it's not simulated. Although I'm totally open to the fact that I don't actually exist. That's fine. I've been told as such many, many times.
You don't exist.
As a writer, you come to feel that that's probably true. But, So I guess the bigger question is, does it matter?
Yeah, it's true. Well, like a human brain is also like primed to look for patterns.
Right.
We like patterns. We like symmetry. Like we are like, which is something a computer would do, right? Like
right. Well, we know the brain's a computer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about this on one of the first podcasts, which is my, I don't think we call it a religious, but sort of philosophical belief that I'm an idealist, which is one of the sort of Greek schools of thought, which is that the universe is a living, breathing creature that gave birth to us and other forms of life so that it could think about itself.
Yeah.
That we are the universe's computer, sort of this chained array of small computers that serve a function within this living organism, and so that to me makes a lot of sense. But it also could be that we have these words that we use to describe things that if it's a computer simulation, these things don't even exist. So we have organic wood, non-organic plastic. We are made up of the same stuff as stars because the periodic table only goes, there's only so much stuff to go around. So, we all have, carbon is everywhere and or what we perceive as carbon. I mean, it's a very interesting intellectual exercise. I do think if you thought too much about it, you would lose your fucking mind. I
have a friend who's pretty convinced we're in a simulation theory. I do think that she's like pretty dead serious too about thinking that we're in a simulation because just like she kind of I think after like the election and stuff she's like this stuff cannot be real. Like she kind of ties it into that like that this is happening, but she'll like say like little things like I guess her boyfriend was standing on a street corner.
I'm sorry, and what does she do for a living?
Oh,
Is she a computer person? Oh, okay. So it's just sort of a layman's, like just your average Joe or Jane.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she works in logistics, which
there's mathematics involved.
So she was saying like little stuff like this, which I love hearing about. It's like her and her boyfriend were standing on a street corner, and there's a guy standing next to them with like a striped shirt and pants, blonde hair, whatever. They saw him, didn't think anything of it. They both talked for a second, and then he was standing on the other side of the street waiting to cross. Or somebody who looked like him and that guy was gone. But no walk signal had gone, nobody had walked. Like kind of like that when people say, now we have a phrase for it because of the Matrix.
Yeah,
like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Which I love hearing, like I love stuff like that when people have like photographic evidence like, of stuff like that.
Or like deja vu, where that's a glitch in, quote unquote, glitch in the Matrix. I used to get deja vu.
I used to
a lot, and I don't,
I get it a little bit more. When I was a kid, I got it a lot.
Yeah, and I kind of miss it.
Isn't it weird though how we knew? How do you like? I want to know when I asked my mom. I feel like this has happened before. Like, how do you learn that that's deja vu, right?
Well, we learn. I don't know. No, as if somebody tells us.
But it's interesting.
I feel like
how do they know what you're feeling is the same thing?
Well, no, because we will say. Because here's how I remember deja vu working. You're talking with a group of friends, and all of a sudden somebody will go, "Whoa, what? I feel like this has happened before." What, like deja vu?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True,
so
isn't that, it is. It's
but
actually.
I wonder if it's about the malleability of a young brain
maybe.
where you can read those signals better. Where we get the brain hardens over time. That's why they tell you you need to teach children languages when they're younger and things like that because their brain is
well, and they also, if you believe
squidgy.
in ghosts and stuff, these kids are like more of a conductor for that because you're more open and your brain is like able to feel on those wavelengths.
Yeah, that's interesting. But so you have that. But having said that, so again, I don't know your friend. I'm sure she's a very nice and intelligent woman.
Yeah. But
we talked about this when we were talking about the Men in Black, where Dan Aykroyd was talking on the phone. He saw the guys, turned around just for a second, and then they were gone or whatever. But we don't. It felt like a second.
Yeah.
But we don't know. And maybe their conversation, maybe while they were talking, he crossed the street to get something, and then they looked, and there he was, and he's crossing the street to come back.
And eyewitness testimony is also like notoriously wrong. We don't remember anything. We think we do, but we don't.
No.
So yeah, I like.
No, and I constantly will contradict that by agreeing with you on that and still thinking I have a very good.
Same. I think it's as writers.
Yeah.
You're very observant of people,
Yeah.
right? I'm always kind of watching people. I love people watching, listening to people, all this stuff. So I like to think that I'm much more observant.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Well,
but
yeah, you know, and it's interesting. You know, if you know the world is a simulation, it's then there has to be. If the universe is a simulation, then there's a bigger reason for it.
Right, but what is that?
Right, but I mean, meaning that either Earth is a simulation, in which case it is so people can observe us because they find us interesting, and we're the number one video game on planet Zerkplop.
Can you imagine?
I don't want to play Jonathan. I don't want to be Keanu Reeves again.
Yeah.
Haha, you have to be Jonathan.
Some little assholes doing the Donald Trump one, just like
trolling
everybody.
just trolling everybody. He's like the kid that assassinates people
Why
on
would
COD.
Why would he call me old when he can be short and fat?
You know what? I am going to go ahead and say that was a good one. He's a shit show.
He's a mean girl.
He is, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know why he would call me old. I would never call him short and fat.
So
That is, you
petty.
catty bitch. But you know, what it was, Michael Shea on SNL's Weekend Update.
I didn't watch the episode.
He's like, he was talking about it, and he did the thing about, I would never call him short and fat. And then he just looked at the camera and he goes, and then Miss Thing tweeted. It was very funny. Michael Shea is very funny.
He is.
But that would be great. Yeah, some kid is just trolling as Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the big thing. Maybe it's like, wow, World of Warcraft, where, the whole thing is people logging in as, MAGA, Team MAGA, or Team I'm with her. And yeah, it's a whole online thing, and this kid's getting like loot crate stuff, because he keeps unlocking achievements. You just unlocked the be creepy about your daughter's boob achievement,
That's also, now that makes me
I got the hookers to pee on the bed, and achievement unlocked.
That actually makes me think about, I've always tried to describe this to people when observing, like there's some people that you know or meet that don't really feel like they're looking at you. I don't know how to describe. There's some people have I think it's just the way their eyes are too. Like maybe if certain colors of eyes or something like that. Where there's just some people who you have conversations with, but you don't ever feel like they are looking at you. But it's not the same as like you and I are looking at each other and it's very obvious. But you always kind of feel like they're not actually focused. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, maybe those are the simulated people.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you can't.
My friend Furiel has a great name for eyes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, face lasers.
There's an actor, I'll have to think about it to give you the example, maybe off air later, of who is somebody who, I'm like, he's never actually looking at anybody.
Oh, like Charles Manson.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Is he dead yet?
I think so.
He's almost there.
I don't know. Oh. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Burn in hell, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who's playing Charlie Manson? That's dark, man. But then, we have these, who is the virus? You know what I mean? Who's the malware in the program? But real quick, so if it is just, I think either it's a simulated Earth that feels like it's in a universe, right? So the universe is actually all an illusion.
Yeah.
That's why we never went to the moon.
Yeah.
They never rendered it. We never went back to the moon. They never rendered it, and they had to delete most of it to to free up hard drive space. And if that's the case, then okay, it's someone observing us for either their amusement or for either their amusement, or maybe we're Second Life. Maybe we're everybody's Second Life character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're, someone wanted to be a middle-aged emotional cripple. You know what I mean? I'm a sad choice. Although I've had an interesting life. I shouldn't say that. But it's very but Second Life it's you're doing boring shit too. Yeah. Like people rocket scientists who in Second Life is a dress shop owner. It's very weird. So maybe that's it. But if the universe is a simulation, if the universe is simulated, why would you only inhabit this planet? Why would you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that means it's a much bigger thing, you know.
You mean why would you have us only inhabit one planet?
Why would you only inhabit one planet? If the universe is simulated, meaning all the planets, all the solar systems, whatever, it must be teeming with simulated life.
Yeah.
So we are again still insignificant.
Yeah.
You know, or the simulation is a byproduct of what we do.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Rick and Morty?
I haven't. I've only seen a couple episodes.
Oh, okay. There's an episode where Rick's car battery is basically a tiny universe that powers the car. And he goes into the tiny universe, and then, but the tiny universe created a tiny universe to power all their stuff, and they don't know that they're a battery and whatever. So, while that was done for the giggles, and it's a brilliant episode, you know, from an existential standpoint, it's exactly what we're talking about. Is you know, if we are a simulation, if it's not just Earth, that's the simulation. So you know, you would render Earth and the people on it, and then it's like if you play a video game where you can only go so far. You can see the moon, you can see the stars, you can only go so far.
And then you hit that fake wall.
Right,
Yeah.
and so you see the universe, you know, and the illusion is that the universe is infinite and keeps expanding. Yeah. If it's a simulation, that expansion viewpoint is an illusion. It has to be. Because if the universe is a simulation, it has to be contained within something.
Yeah.
So the universe being infinite is an absolute illusion. I've always thought the universe was finite.
Really?
Oh yeah. Ever since I was like 19 or 20, it just makes no sense.
Oh, I think, I don't know. What's always kept me up since I was a kid is why we're even here. Like, why is there even a universe?
Oh, don't think about that.
Yeah, no, that's,
Oh, God,
I had a real bad insomnia as a kid. Because I was, like, really got focused on that.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when I was a kid, I was, like, we grew up in a really religious household, but I still was like, but why is there a God? Like, it's, like, beyond that. Like, if there is...
And God is just the IT guy.
Right.
Yeah.
For the
Have you tried turning Earth on and off again?
Yeah. We might need that soon.
Yeah. Hard system reboot.
That's what the Ice Age was, I guess.
Yeah. But you know, I had and I remember it to this day, and when I really think about it, it fills me with a sense of awe and sadness because I only experienced it once. So I was sitting in science class. I was like 15 or 16. And I wasn't high. I think I need to point that out because I did a lot of good drugs in high school.
Not I.
Huh?
Not I.
Oh, okay.
Didn't do it.
You were a late bloomer.
Yeah.
No, you're a good person. So, not that there's a moral equivalency with drugs.
No.
It's fine. So I'm in science class and I'm doing what I always do, which is not pay attention. And I'm staring at this they have those long posters of the solar system, over the chalkboard. You know, it's like a thin sort of.
Yeah.
And I'm staring at this thing, and then all of a sudden I have this out-of-body experience where I'm like right in front of Saturn, and it's expanding, and I'm literally traveling through space and time, and I feel hooked up to the universe, and it's like I knew everything and the meaning of life and everything. And then I'm back at my desk. And it couldn't have lasted more than a second or 2 seconds. It felt like a lifetime. And it's the most depressing thing that's ever happened to me because it was just this incredibly weird. And I've had out-of-body experiences, like astral experiences before.
I'm jealous.
Sorry. I don't know, didn't you get blocked by somebody on Facebook?
What?
No? No, that was you asked me if you got blocked and I didn't, would I be mad? But yeah, it was my friend's daughter who got blocked by Mike Pence.
Yeah.
On Instagram. Anyway, and so I'd had astral experiences before. Sober. This was not that. This was something wholly different where I felt like I can't even describe it. Like I could literally see the universe around me. I wasn't in the classroom. It was fucking amazing. And then all of a sudden I'm back, and I wasn't gone. I was gone. I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for 1 or 2 seconds, because no time had passed.
Yeah.
No one noticed me spacing out. And to this day, and then it was like immediately after that, I couldn't remember what I had learned. I couldn't remember the information. I just had that feeling.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still have that feeling, even though it happened 30 some odd years ago, and it sticks with you. And I don't know what that is. But if it's a simulation, maybe that was a glitch. Maybe I got a hard reboot or something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But then there's other things in terms of who, if we look at it from a simulation standpoint, I don't know what this means, but so here's an interesting thing. And also, so for years and years and years, evidently, and I didn't know this until the night it happened. So we're sitting around. I'm 22, 23. It's some family dinner, right?
Yeah.
So there's 14, 15 people sitting around. And my sister is telling this story that I had never heard her tell before, where she's talking about this time we were very young, we went to Yosemite, okay? And we're out on the patio of this cafe or something like that, and we're feeding the raccoons. The raccoons would come up and they would take the little thing, and they would go away, and they would go, and then run away. And she's telling some people this story, and I'm sitting across from her. And she then says, and as I'm feeding the raccoon, the little bastard reached out and it bit my finger. And it was terrible. It was terrifying. And I could, I can still feel it when I talk about this story. And I looked at her and I said, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like when we were in Yosemite, you were very young, but the raccoon bit my finger.
Yeah.
I said, no, the raccoon bit my finger.
Oh, yeah. That shit happens.
But she's like, bullshit, the raccoon bit. I'm like, no. I had to call my parents in, and I literally had to set it up like, so it was something like, hey, Mom, Dad, we went to Yosemite, remember we were feeding the raccoons? They both went, yeah, then one of them bit your finger. And my sister, it was like,
life change.
Like, but it would be like if it was a Hitchcock movie, like the background spinning behind her, and she's got vertigo, and it's like, what? So she, in her mind, she was living in a completely different universe, because in her universe, the raccoon had bit her, and I still hold that over her head. Anytime I disagree with her on something, she'll go, no, this is what happened. And I'll just go, raccoon bit my finger.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like there's stuff like that happened to me too. Like, you can't trust. I always pride myself on having a really, really, really good memory.
Yeah, but that's different than thinking, Colin, the first time you went on a date, Colin picked you up in a green car and took you to Nico's Pizza Parlor, when he picked you up in a blue car and took you to Nino's Pizza Parlor. Then someone taking something that happened to someone else and superimposing that into their memory and life and view, and so if the universe is a simulation, what is that? That is weird. That's a virus.
Well, if you're that, or like, what if it's like, since you're all the same family, I don't know, like maybe because we were made from some kind of, we had like the same computer programming a little bit, and it like glitched out, like, and gave it back to her, and she was like, what?
I don't know, but the look on her face, like you could tell, like she had been rethinking. Because I know part of it was, fuck, I've told people that story.
Yeah,
so
I
many
was going to
times.
say, I'm sure she's told people that story. I'm sure that I'd have stuff like that.
That's weird, though.
That
right?
like made my sister's memory mine or something like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or like, I had a lot of like best friends that I always hung out with all the time. Like, I wonder what stories that were theirs. And,
Or what about these people you knew in high school or something, and they maybe see you and you don't remember them?
Yeah, that happens. Oh,
yeah.
Somebody. Well, this is not related. Actually, I just blow my mind. There's a girl from my high school in my building. In my building.
Oh, I think you tweeted about that.
I walked by her and was like, Alex? And I was like, no. I thought it was crazy. Like, I really... Because I'm one of those people who sees people everywhere, which maybe that's part of this. Like, I'll see people I think I recognize on the street all the time. Like, I just... And it's
See, I do that too, but again, I have bad visions.
Mine is the same.
Everybody looks like Gary.
Well, that's kind of... I was thinking about this in simulation theory, like thinking if we had any examples of like what would maybe like prove it or make you think about it. I don't know if this is simulation, but I feel like lately, or especially since I moved to LA, there's a lot of things in my life that were really important to me when I was younger that have like these, like, you know, you don't remember everything from when you're younger, but there's certain things that like, I was really obsessed with Hanson or something like that. Like that was like a big part of your life. I'm trying to like think of like
I understand,
things
but
like,
still.
Yeah.
I'm going to mock you off air, but go ahead.
Their new Christmas album is great.
But
like things like that, or like shows, because I was always obsessed with TV, like shows that had meaning in my life, like because of whatever. And I know a lot of people probably share that, and now they're doing all those like reboots and stuff. But it almost feels like it's like happening to like these very specific things are like coming back that meant a lot to me, or like, okay, so somebody
but
just
to you in your generation.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very egocentric creatures.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, there's like random little things too. Like somebody brought up, this has happened like a lot, where somebody will bring up somebody to me, like, have you ever watched that show? No, but I really like this one actor, and I'll see that actor like the next week somewhere while I'm out, which keeps happening. Like I went to an Elbow concert on Thursday.
I don't know what that is.
It's a British band, older. My boyfriend really likes them, so we went. It was at the Wiltern, and two people from this TV show were literally just standing in front of us, which was like, and I just talked about it like the week before. Never hadn't thought about this show in forever. Was just talking about them randomly, and then they were like right there.
Did you introduce yourself?
I talked to them after the show.
Okay.
Yeah, because one of them was in the show Roswell also, and so I was
who
like,
was it?
Kyle Valenti, the boyfriend of Liz.
Oh yeah.
The one, the sheriff's son who like doesn't like the aliens.
Yeah, I like that guy. I love that show.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Yeah, that was a great show. Back before you hated Katherine Heigl.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? She's
She-
going back to Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, you know why?
Did they give her money?
Yeah, because and her movies suck.
I want to like her so bad.
No, because evidently she's a real pain in the ass.
I have heard.
I like Colin Hanks in that show.
Mm-hmm.
He was great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. So okay. Well, that's only 10 minutes. So we got 20 more minutes to kill.
Yeah. Right.
No, that's 32
Simulation.
minutes. Yeah. But no, it's interesting. But again, the problem, or not the problem, but I mean the big conundrum is, I mean, people talk about, if like there's that old sort of thing about if the government, if the government came out and said UFOs are real or aliens are real or whatever, that it would destroy humanity because people would be like, well, what's the point or whatever, which seems like a bullshit thing. It's like, well, what's the point? Well, the point is we're not alone. Get to work, asshole.
Yeah.
But if we all turned out to be a simulation, that would like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, well, then give me some simulated money. I want to be a simulated millionaire.
Yeah, there wouldn't be really a point, or I guess
there would be
maybe a point that we can't comprehend.
Well, but that's the thing is, no. I mean, think about that. If we are sentient beings, I think therefore I am, and we are given 100% proof that we are living in a simulation, which means we don't really exist the way we would by our own definition.
Yeah.
By my own our own definition as humans. My character in Skyrim is not a real person. He looks human. He does human stuff. He eats. He sleeps. He kills elves just like any other human. But he's not real. He lives in the computer. If that's us, what's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, if that is what we are, if we are not real, if we are floating around, if we are just ones and zeros, very sophisticated ones and zeros, just walking around doing our thing, what's the fucking point?
Right.
That's that to me is far more of a dangerous thing to be talking about openly than extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not real,
well, that would cause chaos also. People probably be like, well, if this isn't real, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's insane. Yeah, why not,
murder someone.
Yeah. Or, shoot cops and
kill myself.
Rape people and it's goddamn, Mongol hordes running around. I don't know. It just seems, I mean, if you are a cashier at Ralph's and you find out you're a computer simulation, why the fuck would you ever go back to Ralph's?
Yeah.
And how pissed would you be? I'm a computer simulation.
They made me work at Ralph's.
Yeah. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a good job.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're providing for your family.
Anything in the world.
If you're real.
Yeah.
But if you're a computer simulation, you're kind of pissed.
Yeah.
You're very, very pissed. It's like, hang on.
You couldn't make me rich living in Malibu.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. Why?
Yeah.
Why are some people wealthy? Why are some people lucky? Why are some people beautiful? Why are some people fat, skinny? And I'm not talking about, because you overeat or because you don't, but just biologically or whatever, there are these things. Why do some people get away with certain things and some people don't? If it's a simulation, a lot of pissed off, people.
Maybe they're like city planners and they're trying to test out how these humans would react. They create us in petri dishes.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe what we do is power something.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Like in Rick and Morty.
Or in like Monsters Inc. Our laughter powers cities.
Yeah. But that's real laughter.
Yeah.
Not simulated laughter.
Yeah,
like this is very strange. So what like personally, what do you think, and what would that make you? What do you think? Or do you not even have an opinion? Like, I don't even know if I have an opinion.
No, I don't have an opinion. I kind of.
How would you feel?
Oh, I don't know.
If we were a simulation.
Very confused.
I mean, how depressing would it be if we were a simulation and this is how you chose to spend your Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, right. But you still though would have that dilemma of like, I like my life. So even if I am a simulation, I want to continue living it. So you would kind of have no choice but to just work,
Right, but.
Because the way the simulated society is, I couldn't.
Right, but then there would be those thoughts where you have, well, I wish I could afford that. It's just a simulation. Why can't I have money?
Yeah, but you have no control over getting the money, though.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if we are living, breathing creatures in an unfettered world that has no mechanical rules in the sense of, maybe I can do this or maybe I can do that or whatever. If you are a computer simulation, even if you're in an open world environment where you sort of have some autonomy as a program, it's gonna slant everything you see in the future. Like, look, if I'm a real living, breathing creature, I got elbowed in the face 4 times at class last week because it's messy and I'm wrestling and I'm fighting with people and accidents and injuries happen. If it's a simulation, that was programmed. Mm-hmm. Fuck you, programmer. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like people who have really
coughing up blood snot for 3 days, dude.
People who have really bad things happen to them, too. It's like...
Right. Think about that. Think about that. Think about... I mean,
even if it does relate to like people believing in God. Like it's also in a way because it's like kids who are abused their whole lives and have live in filth and have horribly abusive parents, tortured. Like, what's the point of putting them through that? Like,
and if it's a simulation,
really,
who's playing that character?
Yeah, sociopaths.
Yeah.
There's just more. It's just like a continuously. It's like the battery thing, right? Like,
Yeah, everybody's terrible.
The only thing, Rick and Morty, on a lighter note, Colin always talks about the episode when they go, it's like everything is SH, I think, right? Like, Schmorpy, like they say every word starts with an SH.
That's from season 3. I haven't seen season 3 yet.
Oh, I think it is, because it's like, that got old fast. It was like, I think it's just like a part.
Okay, I haven't seen season 3 yet, because I'm like a season behind on everything, because of the Hulus and the Netflixes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, I don't know.
Neither.
It's certainly a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we've been talking for 40 minutes on it. But what do you guys think? Are we living in a simulation?
Yeah, give me some proof.
Does it matter? Well, and how would you have proof?
Your hand
What would that
turns
prove?
into ones and zeros.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, what would that proof be? I mean, that would be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the end of the Matrix, the first Matrix, where Keanu Reeves is on the phone. He's like, "I've got the power, and I'm going to prove it to you." And he jumps up and he starts flying through the air. And I don't know why I'm mocking Keanu Reeves. I like him a lot. I think
Point Break.
Point Break, fucking John Wick, man. Those John Wick movies are
I've
fun.
heard they're good. I haven't watched.
Plus, from everything I hear, he's like a real decent dude. But anyway, so he's broken through the Matrix, and what's he do? He's gonna fly.
Yeah.
All right, put a cheese sandwich in everyone's hand. That would fuck people up.
Yeah.
Like, where'd that cheese sandwich come from? Like that would be proof, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah, all right, cheese sandwich.
Or would it be proof of like magic? Like I guess it would even.
Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, what did Arthur C. Clarke say? Any technology advanced enough is going to look like magic.
So it's hanging on the walls in my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, so tell us what you think. Are we living in a simulation? Does it matter if we are? If that's proven, what does that change? What would that do to society?
Yeah.
That's nuts. Huh?
The Purge.
The Purge. Oh, wow, the Purge. We could use a purge.
Yeah.
Just a minor apocalypse.
Give me a bunker.
But go to my website, jonathanlatt.com. Go to Angie's website, angiecarrier.com. Follow us both on Twitter. Why not?
Yeah.
And let us know what you think. Again, this is Intractable by Kevin MacLeod. Get all your royalty-free music at incompetech.com. Thank you, Simulated Angie,
Yes.
for joining me. Goodbye, Simulated YouTube. And I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.